woodcutter used to chop logs into firewood, which is then used to heat homes in the winter, alright? It's not really sustainable though, is it? Unless the trees regrow. If the townsfolk are in danger of freezing to death, this icon will appear above their heads. If they are overly cold, the people will return home or go to the closest warm building they can find. This icon will also appear over homes that don't have any firewood available for heating, alright? Man, firewood. And the woodcutter has a massive work yard. I mean, all he does is chop wood, but he needs a space bigger than the warehouse to do it in. That seems a little bit strange. Alright, well let's move time ahead a little bit. I'm impressed that they just keep working through the rain like that. Like, it's probably not good for their health to be out in the rain. So we're kind of starving. Like, we've got 0 food, 5 food. The fisher people are barely keeping up with demand right now. The dirt road is actually kinda, it's not bad, look at that. It's not a bad road. You can't just click on buildings neither, that's interesting. Do I have enough stone? I don't even know. Do I have to assign woodcutters? Like one person's job is just to chop wood his entire life? You can always assign workers by using the professions tool, but you can also change the number of workers when examining the details of the structure. Click on the woodcutter building to view the details. Oh, you can click on them. Assign 1 woodcutter. This does the same thing as changing the number of workers using the profession tool. Alright, 1. The worker will now start producing firewood. He or she will move logs from the stockpile to the building and cut them to firewood. The rest of the townsfolk will use the firewood to heat their homes. Alright, good. Now that the storage barn is built, the cart that the people arrived with is no longer needed. You can remove it and anything else you build using the destruction tools. Remove structures. The workers will remove the inventory from the cart and then move it into the storage barn. Alright. You can use the time tools to change the speed. Alright, fine. This is kind of crowded. And all the buildings look kind of the same. I know realistically things do look quite similar in the real world, but in the game usually you want to make things at least appear distinctive so you can kind of just see easily at a glance what something is. And all this stuff look kind of the same. With some maintenance and a little luck, a small town like this will survive for many years. The children will grow up, become workers and have children of their own. New houses can be built and the town can continue to expand. Although given there's only 18 people in the entire village, we might get inbred pretty soon. If at any point you need help with something or the game or description, in-game help? Wow. In-game help, alright. Let's continue to the next tutorial. Oh look, our town is so successful. As the town grows, additional specialized buildings can help make survival easier. In this tutorial you'll build work areas for blacksmiths, tailors, herbalists and foresters. Okay, so the trees are renewable. First, place a blacksmith. A blacksmith is used to make tools for citizens to work with. Start by selecting resource production on the toolbar by pressing that. Let's see, herbalist, forester lodge. Define an area to selectively cut down trees and plant new seedlings. That's cool. Oh, wait a minute, the forester also chops down trees for us. Gather herbs, health and healing. Make clothes. Brews alcohol. Mine iron and coal out of the ground. Mines cannot be removed once placed. Wow. quarry stone from the ground, cannot be removed once placed, alright. Blacksmith. Alright, we're just gonna ignore time again. Next, place a tailor to make clothes. Apparently we're putting the tailor right there. Place the herbalist. Game's not really spending much time explaining this. I'm assuming the herbalist needs to be out in the wilderness. Like in a forest. The forester we're gonna put there. Curious. There are things that the game isn't really explaining much. Select professions. Assign one blacksmith, one tailor, one herbalist, one forester. Oh, 3 foresters, my bad. Since the blacksmith is not yet complete, I use time to fast forward, that's fine. And we can't click on anything else. All workers need tools to efficiently do their jobs. If a citizen doesn't have a tool, the following icon will appear above their heads. Tools eventually wear out and need to be replaced, but the blacksmith can make new tools. Oh, that's good. Click on the blacksmith. The blacksmith you use log and iron to make new tools. Here you can see the inventory of what the blacksmith has in storage for making tools. If you run out of materials, the blacksmith won't be able to work, okay? You can also control how many tools to make and to put in storage by setting a limit. If the building isn't producing goods because the limit has been hit, the limit icon will appear above the building. Okay, good. You can enable or disable work at the location by toggling the work button, alright. You can also change the product that the blacksmith makes. Using logs, iron and coal, the blacksmith can produce steel tools that last longer than iron tools. Okay. Click on the tailor building to view its details. During the winter months, townsfolk stay warm by occasionally returning to their heated homes. With the tailor, you can help the workers ward off the cold and stay outside longer by crafting better clothing. Warm coat, wool coat, alright, cool. The tailor can use leather or wool to make clothes, or a combination of both to make the best clothing, okay? If you run out of needed materials, that icon will appear. Since the herbalist is not complete, alright, let's just wait for it to complete. Click on it. An herbalist. Silent H. A herbalist, or an herbalist, will collect herbs or herbs from the surrounding forest and will help the townsfolk stay healthy. The yellow circle on the ground around the building shows the area that the herbalist will search for herbs. Citizens need a variety of foods to stay healthy, such as meat, vegetables, fruits, and grains. If the townsfolk are not healthy, they are more prone to diseases, and that's the average health there. Herbalists or herbs collected by the herbalist can be used to help keep the townsfolk healthy if their diet is poor. I mean, I don't know, that's like, you're not eating your vegetables, but you're gonna take drugs to help you stay healthy. That's what it sounds like to me. Herbs usually only grow near old trees. This is something to keep in mind when you place an herbalist building. Click on the Forester's Lodge, alright. The Forester's Lodge has a watchtower on it? Why on earth would it have a watchtower? Rather than constantly clearing areas of trees to produce firewood, the workers at Forester Lodge will manage the forest for you. Workers will plant new trees and cut down old trees in an area surrounding the building. The yellow circle on the ground around the Forester Lodge shows the area that the foresters will work in. You can enable and disable the cutting of trees. When cutting is disabled, no trees will be cut down. Alright, cool. I can't click them. You can also enable and disable the planting of trees. When planting is disabled, no new saplings will be planted around the building. Foresters will also remove rock and ore that is in their work area to make room for more trees to be planted. Alright, so these guys hate rocks, but they love trees. By using these buildings, we can help make sure the citizens have tools, warm clothing for the winter, good health, and replenishable forests. Press next, alright, next tutorial. There are many ways to produce food for the citizens of your town. Hunting, fishing, and gathering can be used to harvest food from the environment. Or you can clear the land and plant orchards, grow crops, and raise livestock. Okay. This is so dense. Like they just kind of put all their houses right up against each other. Look at that. It's actually not that good to live that close to everyone because there's sanitation issues. Okay, so these foresters have been hard at work. Alright, that's cool. Before food can be produced, you need to construct buildings and create areas for food production. You can start by placing a pasture for livestock. Right? Food production, pasture, there, alright. While the pasture is being built, you can place other buildings. A hunting cabin can be used to designate an area where the hunters should search for wild game. Hunters need either open fields or forests to nearby to effectively hunt. Alright, hunting cabin. Do animals just appear in the forest? Similar to hunters, gatherers search for and collect food that is growing in the forest. Select Gatherer's Hut from the menu by pressing that. And we're going to put the Gatherer's Hut there using the mouse. Alright. Farmers can work in the field and grow crops. To place one, select crop field from the menu by pressing the wheat. To place a crop field, alright, I'm going to put that right there. Farmers can also work in an orchard that produces fruit and nuts. To place one, click on trees and drop that right there. I don't really know how big these areas need to be for us to produce enough food. This crop field is currently disabled, indicated by the following icon. There's not enough farmers, is it? To enable the growth of crops, first you need to select the type of seed to plant. You can acquire more seed types by trading with merchants at a trading post. Okay. We're gonna plant potatoes. Are they different or are they the same? Let's go with potatoes. And increase the number of workers to 3. How do you know how many farmers you need? In the spring, workers will plant seeds in the fields, in the autumn to harvest the crops. So it takes a whole year. You can direct them to harvest early by selecting harvest. Why would you do that? After planting, the yield meter will show how mature the growing plants are and can be used as a gauge to determine how much food will be produced. Okay. You can disable or enable work, fine. Crop field. We will plant apples. Increase the number of farmers to 6. Again, how do you know how many farmers you need? The farmers will plant trees and they'll grow over time. Might take several years for trees to produce fruit. Alright, next. You can harvest early again, cut down the trees for wood, or produce a different type of fruit. Alright, interesting. Alright. So the pasture, we are going to... oh, sheep only. Alright. You can acquire more animals by trading with the merchants at a trading post. Alright, we're gonna go for sheep, and apparently we need 2 herdsmen? Why? How many do you need? I don't know. The game doesn't really tell you how many. We should go look at the help file later on. You can empty the pasture. You can split the herd. So basically you have to build more pastures and then move the animals around to increase total numbers. Alright. You can disable. If there are too many animals in the pasture, the herdsman will slaughter them for meat. You can control how many animals are kept in the pasture by changing the values in the slider. Alright, fascinating. This allows you to quickly gain meat for food if the supply runs low. Alright. The hunting cabin is still building. Let me just look around a little bit. So this is the farmers are just walking around doing nothing. So these guys are planting these trees, alright, that they're actually doing... I think they're doing something useful. That's not a very... it's a pretty sad looking field, to be honest. So these sheep were just wandering around out here. But now that we've made the pasture, they've just walked into the pasture. There's two guys here. That guy is scooping sheep poop. And that woman is just walking around and not doing anything useful. Okay. How are we looking at the moment? Store clothes 9, medicine 99. That's food. That's a lot of food we have. That looks pretty good. Alright. Fast forward. Why is this taking so long to build? Oh, there we go. Click on the hunting cabin. The hunters will search the area around the hunting cabin in search for the wild game. In addition to providing meat, hunting deer can provide leather, which can be used by tailors to make clothes. Good. You can disable or enable, alright, fine. Any food producing location, you can control the maximum amount of food to produce. Once the amount of food in storage reaches the limit, the workers will cease working. I don't know why you would not produce more food. Suit the gatherer's hut, alright, let's just